everybody, my name is Carissa, and this is my first video on my new writing/knitting channel called Writerly Knits. I am a professional writer, but I just started knitting. I am a beginner knitter, I would say, but I have fallen in love with it very quickly. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about why I'm starting this channel and what I hope to get out of it and why I hope you'll join me. So when I started knitting, I started following a lot of knitting blogs, and I really liked all of them, and I was really inspired by some of the other fiber artists that I've seen. And for me, a big part of this is just like holding myself accountable, because I tend to lose hobbies quickly. And I don't want to do that this time. And I haven't seen a lot of other knitting channels that also have like a writing focus. They might be out there, but YouTube hasn't shown them to me yet. And even though it feels like such a stereotype of like writing and knitting being a woman's hobby, it is something that like I saw a niche for, and I thought it would be fun to combine two of my favorite things currently. So in terms of like what the channel is actually going to be about, I think it's going to be a lot of the fiber arts side of things, which will mainly be knitting, but I have fallen in love fast with Tunisian crochet, and I'm also working on some upcycling projects, so there will be like a smattering of fiber arts that aren't necessarily just knitting, but that's kind of gonna be the focus. I am a fairly new beginner. I started in January, so for me this is also a way to like document how far I've come and like how far I'm going to get, hopefully. Even in the past 4 months, because I'm filming this on the last day of April, but I feel like I've come a significant way in 4 months, and I like looking back and seeing progress, and I feel like that's easier to do with writing because you can look at a story you wrote 5 years ago and it's not the same, and it's not as good typically as what you might write today. So for me, this is a good way of like documenting the progress that I hope to make. And for me, I hope that this is like encouraging to any other beginners who stumble upon this, because like for me it was really encouraging to see knitters that had a blog that started 2 years ago doing some really cool stuff. And that was 2 years, so I hope that seeing what you can make as a pretty new beginner is just as exciting to other people as it was for me. And I don't plan on hiding that I made mistakes or that things got difficult with a particular project, so I hope like that can encourage other people to like keep going and not to give up just because they aren't perfect at it as soon as they start. That said, I'm also an author and a fan of a lot of nerdy stuff. You can see my Darth Vader thing right there, as well as a lot of other games. So I want that to be part of this channel because it's part of me. And so I have a few ongoing projects that I'm working on as a writer, and I'm going to be sharing some of those things with this channel. So I have some projects in mind that are inspired by some of the things that I like or that I myself am writing. My first video that will come out next week is going to be a fandom-inspired Mother's Day knit. I don't want to say too much about it because I don't want my mom to see it. But you'll see it next week. I also have some ideas for one of the things that I've already started kind of sketching out is an idea for a Lord of the Rings knit, and that's pretty exciting to me. I don't know if it'll be right away because I have to buy the yarn for it and it's gonna be a lot. So. But that being said, I also have a big project in mind that's inspired by something that I have written myself, so that's going to be part of it too. I will also be sharing either a story or something that I've written with every video, and it's going to appear here first. It will appear on my other social media probably a month later, but yeah, if you want a cute little poem or a little story that I've written in your weekly feed, here's the place to get it. And I do have 2 cats, so they will probably be making appearances, I think. Can you see Dinky in this video? You can see you can see the little monster in the window, just like a shadow of it. But that is a Humperdinck. He has a single brain cell, and I call him Dinky. I also have another cat named Loki, who is a void and also the queen of his house. She will likely make less appearances, but if you see a black cat, it's her. So just to start off with a little bit about my knitting journey so far. My grandma and my aunt both started trying to teach me knitting and crochet respectively when I was 7-ish. It didn't go very well. I picked up on crochet kind of a little easier, and I did it for a little bit longer than I did knitting. At the time, I couldn't figure out how to do 2 needles. It didn't make sense to my 7-year-old brain. I tried crochet again in late high school, early college, but I went away on a trip and I never picked it back up. And that was until I interned at the Wisconsin Museum of Quilts and Fiber Arts, which is where you think it is. And I entered there for a summer, and part of my big final project was an educational exhibit, and I had to teach myself how to knit to make an example for it, and for whatever reason it just clicked for me. But in the time since I did that internship, it's been, oh my gosh, it's been 6 years. Yeah, because that was 2019. That's kind of crazy. But I've gotten 2 degrees in the meantime, and I just didn't have time to keep up with it. So I finished my degree. I was in the finishing process late December last year. And being a writer, most of my life is in front of a screen, like I am right now. And I just wanted a hobby that I could get away from the screen for a little bit, or that I could just do in bed. And so I started knitting again, and I didn't stop. I've now been knitting pretty consistently since January, and I've learned a lot of cool stuff. And I'm excited to talk to everyone about it and to share my stories in a new way. This may take off, it might not. I don't know. I just want to share and to document my journey. Like I said, the next video will be about Mother's Day. I understand if anyone needs to skip it. I know that can be triggering for some people, but it is going to be about a pattern I wrote myself. So I figured this one out from scratch, and it is the first pattern I figured out from scratch. So I'm pretty excited about it, and I hope that you are too. The video after that is going to be other projects that I've worked on since January and what I've learned from them. The ones that I have finished. I have one that's still in progress that I'm probably going to have its own video for. So I hope you stick around. In the meantime, I'm going to share my first little poem for this channel, and it is about knitting. It's small, just a hair's breadth. No one would notice if it just left, but watching it drop sends fear threading through the chest, makes grown men catch their breath, makes fingers fumble for a grip, makes needles miss what they should slip. It is small, wouldn't amount to much on its own, but there is more that lies beneath. And tomorrow, well, tomorrow it's not small at all. What once was is now joined to many others of its kind, interlocked, interweaving, enmeshed so tightly nothing could rip. And tomorrow, well, tomorrow everyone would notice if it moved so much as a bit.